Yeah, that was quick. This is Peepla7, otherwise known as Peepla the Purple Butterfly, on Twitter and YouTube, Peepla elsewhere on the internet. My blog is located at purplebutterfly-peepla.blogspot.com. My soaps, Purple Butterfly Soaps, could be located at peepla.etsy.com. And my t-shirt designs, purplebutterfly-peepla.tmail.com. And I finished that last little bit of hair. That was quick, wasn't it? And that's what it's looking like now. So the next thing I have to do, as you could tell, it doesn't brush real easy when you send it through the ventilation, but it will completely brush through. Yeah, because when you ventilate, you're using this, hold on, where I do it? You're using a sharp metal tool that looks literally like a crochet hook. It has some teeth that are like this at the top of it, so when you grab it and pull it through, it literally curls the hair just for a second. It have like these little squiggles, and then you smooth it through, and then you're good. You know, it's made to ventilate human hair as well as synthetic hair, but it's actually a little bit rougher on the synthetic hair because human hair has scales and synthetic hair has none, which is why it has that effect. But that's the tool I use. And every now and then you have a couple little strands of hair that's attached to it. But it allows me to go very quickly. I used to use this, you know, it's Lactric type, and that would make it too big. And the one thing you're doing when you're brushing is you're just getting rid of all the extra. Like this has already been through the ventilation process 2 or 3 times. So that goes over there on the scrap heap. So it actually gives a natural finish, seeing how some of it is longer, some of it is shorter. This part will actually have to be cut off because it's too long. See that? It gives what's known as a natural transgression because, well, this is the hair I use. This is Kanekalon this time. This, if I take a tape measure, is 44 inches of hair. So from the top of this package on down to where it ends. Actually, it's 25 inches of hair, which means folded in half, if you stretch it out, you will have 50 inches of hair. So then when you fold it in half and work with it, you know, it comes down to here. And this is the nape. So that means if I was ventilating the very top of the hair, it would literally stop right about there. So yeah, that's a lot of hair for $2.99, and I bought, how many of these I buy? About 4 or 5 of them, or 3 or 4 of them. Either way, it's enough to do the whole head. So I'm going to take these T-pins out and show you what I have so far. Yeah. If I could get that T-pin to unearth my stuff. Yeah. Yes, I do talk to inanimate objects when I'm trying to get the metal things from being attached to it. And no, I don't answer myself back because, well, that would be crazy. And I'm not crazy, I'm just frustrated with this part of the process. Ah, there we go. I missed one. There. Because sometimes those T-pins, which is the proper tool to use, but it has a little hook the way it's made, so it doesn't always want to give up on Yeah, well, there we go. See, the hair sometimes get caught right in there. But that's fine, because you can always just trim the end or whatever. And I missed another one. Oh, wait a minute. It fell on my bed. Where'd it go? Yeah, trust me, you don't want to roll over and find that you slept on a T-pin. Trust me on that. I've done it before. I'll probably do it again at some point in time. But at some point in time, I stopped braiding them and just started twisting the sections. So that makes it real easy to get it loose. But the ones that are braided is going to be a little bit more challenging to release. Especially since I apparently borrowed some of the hair on the ends to finish the braid. Which you're not supposed to do, but I did anyway. So, yeah. That might require a pair of scissors. Hold on a second. Yeah. Do my brace out the way, because, yeah. There. I'm right across from my manicure station. So, there's always a pair of scissors there. And then if I go all the way over here, where I have all my hair stuff, there's a pair of scissors over there, but right where I'm sitting, that was a no. Okay, now let's just cut that little part off. There. And I'm not worried about that little bit, because that's all I took off. And that's part of the scraggly end anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay. And it just occurred to me, it might be fair if I told you what was cracking me up. There's a quote about facing your own mortality from a book and then a movie called The Lightning Thief. I read the book. It's one of my favorites. And then they made it a movie, and I just had to see the movie. And they did it justice. They did it in a way that was a little corny, but they did do it justice. I'm not going to tell you what the movie is about or what the book's about, because, you know, that's how you enlighten yourself. You go get the book and read it for yourself, or you go get the movie and watch it for yourself. It's worth your time. But anyway, the guy is facing his own death in the one scene, and he goes, I would like to tell you that I faced death like a champ, and I did this and I did that, and I'm misquoting here. And I did this and the other, and I have all these great accomplishments, blah, blah, blah. That's basically what the scene is boiling down to. And here's a direct quote. But in reality, I thought, ah! So when I'm realizing my own mortality, that popped in my head, and that's when I busted out laughing. So, yeah. Because it just occurred to me every now and then, my mailbox, which is already too full of stuff, people will say, hey, let me ask you something. What did you mean by? And sometimes it's like 3 or 4 videos might have went by, or you went on with life because you're random that way and you don't even know what the heck are they talking about. And then by the time you realize what they're talking about, you're going, oh, well, how do I respond to that? Because now you're on a whole different subject and your brain went a whole different place. So sometimes I don't want to go through email if there's no reference points attached to the email. Now, friend of mine. She makes videos. Her name is Treya, which is heart spelled backwards, which is really cool. But she has these natural hair horror stories, and people send her emails and comments and stuff. So then she, makes reads the storyline and gives her opinion on it, so forth and so on. And they're really interesting. They're very much addicting. But when people come up with, okay, here's what I think of that, blah, 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 and there's no reference, I don't know how on God's green earth she is just right there with, I understand what you're talking about, and here's, I can't keep up with, I have 1,200 videos. If someone asks me a question about video number 15 or 30 or whatever, I'm going to have to go back and look at video number 15 or video number 30 to even know what the subject was to respond to it, instead of, here's some randomness and, hey, I didn't give you a reference or anything. I just asked a question in reference to your video, and here's 1,200 videos that I don't know which one you're talking about, Anyway, that's what I have so far. But now it all needs a good brushing. Fortunately, since this is synthetic hair, I don't have to be very careful about how I brush it. I just got to get it brushed. Now, when I'm working with human hair or my own hair, yeah, you have to go a lot slower and a lot gentler because, you'll get split ends and that stuff. Okay, I apparently didn't do as much of this ear as I thought. Right here, I can see through that. This ear, as you can tell, I've done this much of it. Well, that much of it. On this side, it's just, hey, I did the outline. But it's all good, because right now it's just getting it in a braid so that way I could continue on with the rest of it. But I figure since I already had you here, I'll just go ahead and show you what it would look like if it was in a upsweep at the moment. Okay, now Tango City. Kanekalon tends to shed a lot, so yeah, which is probably why it only costs $2. But that's my hairline, and that's what it's going to look like. I'll put this in the thumbnail, but that's what the hairline is going to look like once it's completely done. And it'll stop right about here, which is fine because that's basically mimicking my hair, which is the whole point of this. So let's see if I can get up close and personal with a wig head. See? It dips where my hairline dips. There's an empty spot where my hairline has an empty spot. There's a widow's peak because I have a widow's peak. Yeah. And this was where I blocked it. So there's the paper is still there because I didn't take the pins out. And that's going around my actual ear. This wig head or canvas block head is the exact size of my head, and I literally did a lace face, which I took some lace, put it over my head, tied it under my chin, and literally drew in my features. After I was done drawing in my features, I, including the widow's peak, I transferred all those measurements onto the block. That's actually my face. It's got a little bit smeared with, washing it and all that. But yeah, so it's the exact shape and size of my head, which is 24 inches, which is why I say I got a dome, y'all. But when I tried to get a small, medium, large type thing going on, there was always a problem. The average wig size does not fit my head, because my head is bigger than the average wig size. But by the same token, you try to get a large or whatever, and then it's too big, because if you go by small, medium, large on that scale, they're thinking the average woman has a medium-sized head, or small to medium-sized head, and then everything else is men's sizes. And my head ain't as big as a guy's, but it's not as small as the average woman either. So there needed to be a happy medium, and I figured the only way I was going to find a happy medium was to get a professional size. I'll be with you in a minute. Get a professional. I'll be with you in a minute. Okay, love you. But to get a professional size canvas block made just for wig making. So that's how that came about. And then it was just finding, where do I find that? You know, milliner blocks, so forth, so on, because that's what they call it, a milliner block. But if you don't know the term milliner block, you just look up canvas wig head. And everybody wanted to tell me $60, $50, so forth and so on. I got this for $20, no, $24. It was actually $8.99, and then the rest was shipping. So yeah, if you know where to go, you can get all kinds of things. So $8.99 is a good, really good price. But sending it from China, that's where the $20 extra came in. And even after going through AliExpress, having it sent here, waiting a month to get it, the total cost was $24 something, some change, $24.99, $25.01, something like that. But let's think about that. $24.99, and if I buy it in the United States, go around the corner to the wig store, I'm paying $60. Yeah, I'll wait 30 days. So, yeah, that's what I got so far. It's time to add this to the drawing card, and I'm gonna finish this little gap here first, because I mean it's dart to dart, and then just fill that part in, and then do what I do. Yeah, it still takes me a month either way, whether it's synthetic or human hair. That's actually going quicker, because with it being synthetic hair, I just literally fold it in half, ventilate it, pull it through, continue on to the next. Because okay, with ventilating human hair, you have what you call the returns. So if this is the length of the hair, this much of it is the returns. That's the part that's getting folded over and worked. And then you might even have to trim off the returns, because human hair goes in one direction, that's called Remy, and then you're actually having part of the hair go this way, part of the hair is going this way. That can snag and tangle if the returns are too long. With this being synthetic hair, there are no returns. So you just literally fold it in half, go straight through, and you don't have to worry about split ends or if anybody could see the returns or anything, because there are no returns. So it just looks like it grew out of the, cap, which is one of the draws to synthetic hair. But the downside to synthetic hair is hot, is not a natural fiber. I wish they'd make a synthetic that's got all the properties of natural hair without the, because this I like, because it's not too shiny, because everybody knows plastic hair can be shiny. This is kind of a matte look. And because of its nature, it can shed a lot, so forth and so on. Human hair is human hair, So basically it gets expensive because you have to match enough human hair to match the texture, the color, the length, preferably one donor or two donors in the same general, area, vicinity, type, so forth, so on. And when you have this is what you get. It'll be this all day long, same color, same everything. So that's a plus. The price, after I put in all of the bundles, I didn't even spend $20. However, it took me a month of my time to do a full lace wig when I was using human hair. That's going to take me a month of my time because you're still doing the same procedure, you're just not using human hair. So it's cheaper if you go by materials. It's expensive if you go by time. And if I was charging for this particular unit, I still have to charge you for my time, even though the materials are, much more reasonably priced. That's why people go, $300 for a wig? Why? Well, the hair might cost, $80, $90, $100, whatever. But the rest is just you putting the hair in strand by strand, one at a time, no more than 6 hours at a time because your hands will cramp up. And you'll get this pull all the way down to here if you don't take periodic breaks. So you can't just go straight through, I'm on a roll. No. If your alarm clock goes off saying time is up, you need to take a break, take that break, because otherwise you end up carpal tunnel, you end up with your hands doing this. I did that when I used to knit. I would be on such a roll that my hands would literally just freeze in place. They'd be cramping all the way through here. But I wanted to finish what I was knitting. And then you couldn't do any work on the knitting for 3 days because that's how long it took for that sprained, crampy feeling to go away. And I came this close to needing carpal tunnel surgery. So that's when I figured out, hey, you need to stop, take a break. And that's part of the obsessive compulsive thing too, because when I find something that I am doing, it's like I can't stop in the middle. You have to find your stopping point, and if you don't have a stopping point built into what you're doing, then you'll keep going until you're pass out from exhaustion or your hands cramp up, or that got to be an issue. And when I was a school bus driver, if someone called off, hey Kay, you don't have to go by stop number 4 today, blah blah blah. Okay, thank you. And you're driving and you don't go by stop number 4 in your brain. You're at stop number 2 and you're reminding yourself, don't go by stop number 4. You're at stop number 3. Don't go by stop number 4. Just go straight to stop number 5. And then, okay, you're at stop number... Hey, I'm at stop number 4. How come I didn't go straight to stop number 5? And then you go, okay, well, the time... That was my justification. Well, I had to, go by the stop anyway, even though I'm not picking up someone, just so I be on time, not too early to the stop, not late, so forth, so on. But I would do it every time. I would literally forget that I didn't have to pick up this person. I would go to the stop anyway. Instead of just go to the, stop after that and wait. Because it's actually illegal to show up at a stop too early and then not wait. If you're early, that's fine. Wait till 1 minute past the pickup time, then head off, But my brain, if something's on a schedule, my brain would try to follow that schedule. If something is a pattern, my brain would try to follow that pattern. That's why when I make soaps, even if I don't have the piece of paper in front of me, I know how much lye to add, how much water, how much this, how much that, so forth, so on, because I do it so much in a particular pattern that if I forget the fragrance oil, I will remember the fragrance oil before it's time to pour. Like the Fruity Loops, I literally had to pour the fragrance oil in as a circle, so that way when I did the swirl, it went into all parts of the soap. It got a little muddy. The green took over because, you know, the more you stir, some colors will activate. The green took over, but it's still pretty. The scent is still through every single bar. So, you know, but I now have it set up because of that, because that's the third time in a row that's happened. And I seem to do everything in threes anyway. But that's when I said, okay, here's the oils, here's the catalyst, here's this, there's the fragrance oil, there's my super fat, and it's now going in before the super fat, because I never forget the super fat. And I tried that out with the Acqua di Gio. It worked out fine. In place of the fragrance oils is more super fatting if it's an unscented batch. So I still have the jigger full of something. So instead of a jigger full of fragrance oil, that's a jigger full of super fat, and then the amount that would actually be for the super fat, if it's more than that jigger, is there too. So that way it's still going in the order my brain needs to process it in. I'm getting rid of all the little extra hair. I have a little garbage can over there, so that way I can just gather it all up, and, you know, I don't just throw that in my garbage can, because that'll sit there for a while, and then I'll see a little strand here, a little strand, and it will bug the snot out of me, I'm telling you. So I have it in a little bag, so I can just roll that up and put it out of my sight. Anyway, I rambled on enough. I have this to do. I have some soap I intend to do. I'm starting to get hungry now, so I'm finna go make some lunch for all the people in this house that might want to eat. And they don't want to eat, they're going to be served food anyway until they're ready to eat, because one of them's diabetic and one of them is one of them people that go, oh no, I'm good, don't worry about me. And then they go, you didn't fix me nothing. Really? And after 50-something years of that, you know, you get used to it. Anyway. Oh, someone did ask me about this bag. This was a bag I got the Christmas presents out of. It was literally the size of a mini tarp if I cut it in half. So I put the I put it across my lap, so that way when I'm ventilating hair or whatever, when I'm done, I can move it out of my way, including everything that was in it, so forth, so on. Because I found out when I was ventilating on my nice fluffy favorite blanket, then you have to pull little strands of hair out of it. You still have to do that when you have that tarp there, but not as much. It's like I go like this, I might come across one strand of hair. Nope, that's 2 strands of hair. But without that, you know, a little piece of plastic there, I'm doing this for like an hour just so I don't have little strands of hair in my bed. Because I will sit there on my bed or on my chair. When I do this in the living room, yeah, that's not a good situation. Because you're going to clean up whatever you mess up anyway. And if you clean it up and you're doing it and that's what you do, and hey, I did this, now I did this, now I did this, now I cleaned up my mess and now I go on life, that's one thing. But I did this, now I'm cleaning up my mess, and someone's like this the whole time. Now you want to just smack somebody like, shut I'll stop right there. Literally. Because, yeah, you'll relive old arguments and then that stuff will pop up in a new argument. Anyway, this has been People of 7 on Twitter and YouTube. People elsewhere on the internet. She's got it too hot in here again. That's why she was in the other room. She was turning up the heat. Busted. Let's start that over. This has been People of 7 on Twitter and YouTube. People elsewhere on the internet. My blog is located at purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com. My soaps, Purple Butterfly Soaps, could be located at people.etsy.com. My t-shirt designs, purplebutterfly-people.tmail.com. Y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Bye now. And I just realized I keep leaning like this when the tripod thing I got on tilts back instead of just moving the camera. So yeah, that can be a little bit uncomfortable. So I'm going to remember to fix that. Take a screwdriver and adjust it so that way it, yeah. See, this is why random is down there in my keywords. Bye y'all.